Okay, so I thought today that we would we'll do our usual practice, and everybody will have then a recording of the practice. What I also wanted to do possibly during the course of the practice is to show you some of the movements standing, if we were to do them standing, so that if you want to practice at home, if you feel like you want to do start to build in towards standing work, then it's easy for you to do that at your own pace. But the thing to know is that I will never do anything standing that you can't do sitting on a chair. In some cases, when you're sitting on a chair, you're going to only do the upper body work. And in some cases, you're going to replicate the movement seated with the legs as best you can. So it's a case of just watching the standing work and then seeing how that same process could play out in a seated position. You might even do a little bit of both so that you can get a sense of both the things. But we will start seated for the breathing exercises, and as usual with the breathing exercises, we will layer up levels of intensity so that the internal muscles start to warm up and the breath becomes longer and deeper. But obviously you work with what's comfortable with you. When it comes to breathing, you always do what's comfortable with you while introducing levels of challenge that are appropriate. So breathing work is really important for warming up the internal muscles. The internal muscles do more work than your external muscles. So have your block ready by your side, or just a thick book. And even if you don't have any of those things, you can do it without. It's just easier to have a reference point for sensation. Anyway, let's just start by sitting ourselves comfortably in a tall but relaxed position. So both feet flat on the floor, in line with the hips as best you can. So some people can't do it this way, but as best you can, ankles lined up with knees, knees lined up with hip joints. Hip joints are at the front of the body. And allow your hands to rest anywhere in your lap that is comfortable for you. Gently draw the chin inwards and upwards, just softly, so that the crown of the head lifts towards the ceiling and the gaze is coming either straight ahead of you or forward and down quite a long way towards the ground. And you can either defocus your eyes or you can allow the eyes to close so that you can really focus on your internal sensations. And all we're going to do is start by coming towards the feeling sensation in the body, the natural breath. So quietening a little bit, allowing the body to soften comfortably into your seat and starting to pay attention to the patterns of breath. Becoming aware of how the body feels today. Any emotions, any thoughts that are around, always without judgment. We're just gathering information. And as you start to gather this information about the quality of the breath, any body sensations, emotional stuff that's around, any mental processes that are happening, thoughts, remember the purpose of gathering information is so that you have a sense of your starting point, and these things change. So it's likely that even as you've sat here for just 30 seconds, 40 seconds, the breathing is likely to have settled a little bit, at least. You might just find a sort of a sense of quiet coming just from sitting quietly for a few moments with your own experience of sitting here. So if you'd like to, you can start to layer up the level of intention you bring to your breath. So you can leave it at the natural breath if that's what's best for you. But if you want to, you can start moving towards a deeper diaphragmatic breath, always breathing in a comfortable way, inhaling so that the front of the body expands, belly, rib cage, chest, and then exhaling so that everything draws back and down again. So we're just going for a standard diaphragmatic breath, inhaling to expand the body, grow tall maybe, feel the lift across the front of the body. As you exhale, releasing all the muscles and letting them go. So just feeling a little bit more activity. And you can take a little bit of interest in how we use the exhale, the out breath, for placing the work, the effort in a yoga practice. And that can be both release, letting go, stretching, helping to relieve tension in the body, stretch into muscles and joints, but we also use it to engage muscles and to strengthen and to heat the practice. So how you use your out breath is really powerful, but it's very important to practice inflating on the in-breath. Think of your body like a balloon. As you breathe into a balloon, it expands. As you breathe out, it releases and shrinks. Very consciously coming towards diaphragmatic breaths. A lot of my clients in yoga take their practice into day-to-day life, but particularly the breathing exercises. They are very, very easy to switch on at any time. They're really powerful for just moderating nervous system reactions. And so practice for this is always available. Learning to expand. That feeling, it is very common for people to pull their belly in as they breathe in. There's a name for that, it's the cultural corset. It's the feeling of having to pull your belly in all the time. So we want to take off that cultural corset and expand and allow the belly to be huge when you breathe in. Okay. So when you're ready, if you want to introduce a little bit of warmth, and I do recommend doing at least this next exercise, we can start to engage and strengthen up. Just by way of an example, and tone the internal core muscles from the knees all the way up to the shoulders. Keep that in-breath really nice and long. As you exhale, start to pull the pelvic floor up. Gently pull the belly in. So it's like you're trying to use your abdominal muscles to press the breath out of the body till you feel completely empty. And then inhale, fully relax everything. So pelvic floor relaxes, abdomen relaxes. Everything expands and stretches out. Exhale, pelvic floor comes up, belly pulls in. So navel pulling inwards and upwards towards the rib cage, in towards the spine, up towards the rib cage. Inhale to relax. And so just as a point of reference with the chair, if you carry on breathing this way, it feels like you are trying to lift your body off your chair. So you'll feel that sense of lift on the back of the chair. As you exhale, your spine will become very tall. As you inhale, everything will soften. So the movement, the general movement of the body changes when you use the breath this way. Inhaling to fully relax. Exhaling, squeeze. Pelvic floor draws up, belly draws in, a little bit of height comes in from the top of the head. For some people, it is easier to press into the feet. I know some people this can really ache the knees. So if that's you, just focus on everything from the hips and the bum. Otherwise, you can try exhaling, press your feet firmly into the ground. The pelvic floor will lift. You can assist with that lift internally. And pull the belly inwards and inhale, fully relax. Expand, open up, stretch out. So if you're doing all of these things, you'll start to feel warmth coming into your thighs, your glutes, your internal abdominal muscles, the deeper layer of muscles, the pelvic floor, the deep abdominal muscles that wrap around the rib cage and a couple of layers above that. And you might even feel it in your rectus abdominis, which is the top layer of abdominal muscles. Okay, So it's a pretty intense work. If you need to take a breather, take a breather. If you're ready to layer up a little bit more, we can start warming up the legs. So you can put your block or your book, if you've got it, between the knees. You don't have to have the block, but if you do want a point of reference, sometimes hands between the knees can help, or you can make a couple of fists, just so you can feel the sensation of squeezing. And we're going to continue working with the breath, relaxing on the in-breath, engaging on the out-breath. So keeping the hands really relaxed. As you exhale now, you are going to push from the outer edge of your thighs in towards the block. Pull the pelvic floor up, press into the feet if that's what you're doing, and scoop the belly in. That's a full, all the layers of the work that you can do. When you inhale, fully relax, you feel your body sort of pull down on the chair like a puddle. Exhale, at least pull in from the outer edges of the thighs, press into the block. If you want to, pelvic floor and abdomen. As you inhale, fully relax. Exhale to squeeze. I'm going to do 3 more, including this one. Inhale to relax, work at your own pace. You never have to do all the repetitions. Exhale to squeeze. Inhale to relax. We're strengthening up the outer edges of the muscles. If your hands are resting on your thighs, palm down, you'll feel those muscles switch on. You can also have your hands on your belly if you want. Last one, exhale, squeeze into the block, and inhale, relax. It's surprisingly warming work. We're going to layer up a little bit more. You can rest if you want to. So for this one, I usually need to move the block just forward a little bit so it doesn't collide with the chair. I mean, it won't anyway, but just for comfort. And now we're going to we're going to scoop the block in towards the body on the exhale. So as you exhale, press the knees in and scoop the block inwards towards the back of the chair, the seat of the chair. Inhale to fully relax. So just intensifying. Exhale, pull the block in. You'll feel like your feet want to press forward. Inhale to relax. You'll feel also like your chair wants to tip back. Really firming the abdomen for this one if you're doing the abdominal work. And last round, exhale, pull the block in towards yourself and inhale to release. So you can let go of the block, place it down out of the way. Surprisingly hard work for absolutely no movement, really. It's all internal work. So the internal muscles, including the spinal cord, have warmed, if you've been following all of that. Let's just move straight into cat-cow, and I'm going to do 3 rounds of cat-cow seated, and I'm going to show you how to do it standing so that you can do it standing if you wish to. So let's just start seated, nice and tall through the spine, shoulders back and relax. As you inhale, lift the chest, draw the tailbone back, push your spine forward, palms forward, lift the chin, inhale. Exhale as you round the spine back into the chair. You can feel the back of the chair. Bow the head, but don't compress the throat. Hands turn back. And just keep rolling through. Inhale to open up. Spine pulls forward. Exhale to round. Spine pulls back. Focus on the ripple of the spine. If you want to keep your breathing work going, you can. You can engage as you exhale. And then close. So if you're staying seated, absolutely feel free to stay seated. If you want to stand and try, this is how we work standing. Nice and tall to start with. Inhale, reach forward, shoulders go back, tailbone goes back. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the tailbone, relax the shoulders forward. Inhale to open. Exhale to close. I'm just going to do 1 more here, whether you're standing or seated. We'll have had 6 rounds of cat-cow. Open up. Exhale, close. And then whether you're standing or seated, just come back to neutral and we will take a banana stretch. So I'm going to show you this standing first. Again, you can do it seated. Legs are optional for this, regardless of where you are. If you struggle to cross your legs or cross your ankles, then leave the legs out. Otherwise, you can take your left ankle over your right, or left foot over the right foot. Take the arms up, left wrist in right fingertips, reach up, inhale, and exhale, draw your arm over to the right. And you can see the banana shape I'm making from the left ankle all the way up to the left wrist. I'm not mirroring, so if you can go the opposite direction, it doesn't matter. Keep breathing here. When you're ready, you can inhale to center and then switch sides. I'll show you the other side seated. Switch right wrist in left fingertips, left ankle over right, or leave the legs out. Exhale to stretch over to the left. Try not to let your head collapse, so you don't need to bring your ear to your shoulders. It's a big old movement. Inhale to center, let's release the arms, and we'll have some soft shoulder rolls. So there's absolutely nothing about upper body work that you can't do standing up if you want to. Soft shoulder rolls. You can wiggle rather than roll. I don't work with the breath, I mentioned before. I don't work with the breath when I do shoulder rolls because it's too intense. I want more of a soft wiggly movement. I quite like to cycle loosely the shoulders. It really helps. I release more tension if I just keep it free. I'll shake out the arms a little bit. And let's do a little bit more side to side work. So we'll start seated. Hands down by the sides. Let's inhale, draw left arm up. Exhale, over. So try and keep both hips evenly placed on the chair. Try not to rock over. Inhale to center, right arm comes up. Exhale, left arm down, right arm across. You can relax the arm or reach. Inhale up and over. If you exhale as you reach, pull your belly in. You're going to keep working into the obliques, so the waist muscles. The more firmly you reach, the more you pull your belly in, the harder you work in terms of strength. The more you relax your belly and the more you soften the arm, the harder you work in terms of mobility. You can choose the one that feels nice for you today. What do you need? Just working with the breath. Inhale up. So if you were standing, it would be the exact same thing, just standing on 2 feet. I'll show you. It's just the exact same movement. You may find that it's more intense. If you keep your hips very square with the front of the mat and don't let them swing from side to side, it will be more strengthening. If you allow your hips to sway, it's going to be more like a lovely stretch. You've got to be a little careful when you let your hips sway. Okay, so when you've had enough, you can stop. I mean, I find it very hard to have ever had enough of side stretching because I love side stretching, but I know not everybody feels that way. And a little bit of work for the waist there. Let's do some twisting. So bring hands to heart. It's the same principle if you're standing for this. Hips stay square for strength. Hips release for more bending. Actually, hips staying square is generally better for this sort of thing. So let's practice, if you're up for it, pulling the belly in as you exhale. On an exhale, we're going to rotate the upper body to the right. Scoop belly in. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the left. And these are not big twists. These are quite small movements for a lot of people. You're not likely to twist the whole way unless you're an owl. And even then, that would just be your neck. We're going to keep the head in line with the fingertips. Exhale, twist. You can scoop your belly in. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist. You don't want to scoop your belly? You do not have to. Let's do one more on each side, and then we will hold and experiment with a little bit of sensation. So next time you have twisted to the right, let's just hold that position. See if you can square off your hips as much as possible. Bring your head in line with your fingertips. As I said, it's not a big twist. Shoulders draw down. You're just breathing freely for now. Hold your twist. It's quite strong. If you want to, take a really long breath in. As you exhale, actively scoop your navel inwards and upwards, and just notice whether the quality of your twist changes. You might find that you can go just a little bit further. So when you're in a twist like this, it's normal for the breath to come higher up into the chest. Much more intense if you switch on your lower abdomen. When you're ready, on an inhale, come to center. Exhale, twist, just go softly. Have a couple of breaths, don't do anything else. Just hold the position, make sure the shoulders are relaxed, the hips square. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, actively empty out your lungs so that the belly pulls inwards and upwards. It's like you're trying to put on 2 small jeans. You've got a pair of jeans that are a couple of sizes too small. You just need to get that zip up and you scoop your belly in as you exhale. And breathe into the chest so that belly stays in. And when you're ready, on an inhale, fully relax the belly, pelvic floor, everything, come back to center. Release the hands. Have any kind of little movements you need to release tension. We're going to do another held twist. This one's bigger. So on an inhale, I'm going to draw the arms up, lovely and tall, really, really tall. Exhale to take the left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Right hand holds onto the chair behind you, or maybe the chair seat if you have a low chair. Rotate all the way around to the right. Chest goes to the right. Remember, it's from the waist upwards, all of this work. Your right shoulder needs to be softening down away from your ears, so try not to hunch up. If you're hunching up, you may have gone too far. And now if your neck is okay with it, you can turn your head, but you really don't have to. You can keep it in line with the chest. And if you want to experiment with that breathing practice here, you can pull the belly in if you wish to. So these are all our classical chair yoga movements. When you start to work with the breath, you bring a new level of potential into how you work with these movements. It's easier to do it when the movements are familiar. Okay, when you're ready, let's inhale to center, reach up. And exhale, right hand out to the outside of left thigh, left hand behind, lower down that left shoulder. Sometimes the chair can a little bit get in the way. Rotate the chest, turn the head if it's comfortable. Breathe, inhale, grow tall. Exhale, either relax or scoop the belly in. If you scoop the belly in, your twist may deepen. If you relax, your twist may deepen, but one is for strengthening your obliques and one is for relaxing tension out of them. Lovely stuff. Let's come back to center. So naturally working into the muscles, also a little bit of work here for the shoulders. So let's build on that. Let's bring the hands down by the sides, breath synchronized movement. Again, how you work with your breath is based on what you need today. You can do all of this standing. So let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, take the arms down to the sides. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale up. Work with the breath, so there's no flinging of arms. You don't get to the top and then breathe in. You move in time with the breath. And the more you reach from the navel, the more of a deep sensation through the whole body you get. If you keep your trunk relaxed and your legs and your hips relaxed, then just your arms will get tired. You'll find your arms get tired more quickly. If you can get that sense of lengthening through the whole of the body as you reach up, you get less tired in the arms. So it's a little bit of practice. One more reach up. Exhale out to the sides. Now let's inhale, take the arms up halfway, and exhale, give yourself a hug. Just pay attention to which arm goes on top. You can round your spine, bow your head. Inhale, open up, take the chest forward, draw the arms back. Exhale, opposite arm goes on top. So it doesn't matter how far back your arms go, just let them go as far as they can so your chest draws forward and your shoulder blades squeeze together. And again, you can soften into all of these movements, or you can really reach. Okay, one more, and then we'll hold this posture as well. It's a nice stretch for the back of the neck. Give yourself a hug and allow the head to bow down. Now, if you want to, you can curve your spine, you can roll your tailbone under. Your choice. Bow the head. So if you bow the head just enough that the front, so try not to bend all the way down. Just relax the head forward so the chin draws in and up, and the back of the neck will get really nice. Just gentle lengthening. I want to call it a stretch, but stretch suggests something quite intense. This is a bit more of a nice feeling of length. And yes, it is a little harder to breathe when you've wrapped your arms around yourself. Hold this posture, one more breath. Let's inhale to open up, nice and broad, lower the shoulders, take the arms back, and then exhale, hug, opposite arm goes on top. And just bow the head. Bow the head a little bit, draw the chin inwards and upwards, relax the face, let the back of the neck get a nice stretch. The shoulder blades are getting wonderful stretch here as well. They're drawing out a little bit more to the sides. Tailbone can be tucked under, belly can relax if you wish. Lovely stuff. When you're ready, let's inhale, grow tall again, release the arms, and let's do a little bit of a, just if you're willing to stand, you can stand. Otherwise, just do the arm movements, and that should be enough. But the work we're going to do standing would involve stepping out a little bit wide with the toes pointing out and the heels coming in. And otherwise, you can just do the seated version, and you can do similar thing with the legs. You would have the legs stretched out and then bend them, or you can just have the legs wide with the toes pointing out, and you could lift and lower the heels if you want to. So that's your options there. I'll show you standing first. So hands down by the sides. As you inhale, draw the arms up wide, palms facing upwards, gaze up. And then as you exhale, you sit into a high squat. Doesn't have to be as low as I've gone. Inhale, grow tall, open up, 5-pointed star. Exhale and squat. And you just keep it really fluid. You don't have to hold any of these postures. I'll do one more here, standing. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, press, squat. So that's 5-pointed star when the arms go up. Press, squat when you come down. If you were doing it seated, inhale, lift the heels, take the arms up. Exhale, press into the feet, drop the heels, hands to heart. Inhale, lift, open. Exhale, press the feet down. You really need to press the feet if you can, as long as it doesn't hurt your hips. One more. Doesn't matter whether you do 8 seated, 1 seated, it's better to do it the best you can for 1 round than to do 8 and feel absolutely exhausted at the end. And let's release the hands, and we will do a seated warrior. So we're going to do seated warrior in our style. If you wanted to experiment at home with this video, the other way of doing warrior is to rotate on your chest so that the thigh is sitting on the chair and the other leg is reaching back behind you. In our class, I know that this is not possible because of hips, because of low back and knees. But if you want to work towards it, this is the shape that we make. We're going to do it our way, which is sitting on the chair in our prayer squat. So shoulders nice and relaxed, fingertips come together at the center of the chest. This is slightly stronger work. Take the arms out wide. Turn your gaze to the right. So I'm not mirroring you. You either need to copy me visually or follow the instructions. Now, if you want to, you can press firmly into the feet. And that's going to intensify everything, but you don't have to. You can just relax them. Gently draw the belly in if you can. Gazing over the fingertips of the right hand, warrior two. Take a deep breath. And scoop the belly in as you exhale if you wish. And we're going to reverse this. So on an exhale, draw your left arm back as far as it'll go, and then tip it down. So you can bring your hand to the back of your, the back chair, the back leg on your chair. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, so it's nice and square. Turn the palm towards your face, curve the arm and gaze up, reverse warrior. You might still need to be pressing down into those feet. If you're building heat and strength, it's a lot of work on the old hips, this one. They're not old hips, they're lovely hips. And then when you're ready, come back to center, carefully exhale, pull the belly in, and we'll go for extended side angle pose. So right forearm resting on the right thigh, take the left arm up towards the ceiling, reach, reach, reach. So you can see how long my left side of my waist is. Don't lean too heavily on your thighs, just to support. It's not taking your body weight. If you want to extend over, you could lengthen out your left leg as well a little bit if you want to. You can't see because my block's in the way. You could do it that way. You can relax the upper arm as well if you want it to be more stretchy. And which direction you gaze in is entirely up to your neck. Don't let your head sink down towards your shoulders. Just nice long line. You can imagine my spine is in a nice curved line, no compression. Inhale back to center. And in between warriors, you always have the freedom to have a little wiggle and a shake to release tension. So I really like doing it this way. I think it's more accessible for more people. When you're ready, back into your central position. Fingertips together at the chest. This just helps you to keep your shoulders relaxed and your arms level. Take the arms out wide. Turn the head to the left. If you want to, you can press into your feet quite firmly. If you've been doing the pelvic floor and the abdomen exercises, then this will get more and more accessible over time. And you can pulse as well. You don't have to keep them switched on. You can take time. Warrior two to the left here. Whatever you're doing, don't forget to breathe. And when you are ready, on an exhale, extend your right arm back behind you. Release it to the back leg of the chair if you can reach. Take your left arm up. Try not to put too much weight into your right arm. You're using your body strength, gazing up towards those fingertips. And the more you reach, the more you press your left hip down, the more work it becomes. Then if you want to, rotate the palm over to the right, gaze up into the palm of the hand. If your neck's okay with it, you can gaze forward if you want. Just relax that arm. This is a great stretch. Most people feel it more around the internal obliques, around the back of the hip, and probably the hip itself. But warrior is more about strength than stretch. When you're ready, carefully press into the feet. Exhale, pull the belly in, come back to center. And we're going to extended side angle pose. So left forearm to the left thigh. Don't lean on your thigh. Take your right arm up and then extend over if it's good for you. So these are all layers. You can stay up high, you can extend, and then if it feels possible, lengthen out your right leg. Gaze whichever way is comfortable. Now, when I say don't lean, I really mean it. So if you were to take your arm away, you could still hold the posture. You can see my hand just there. It should still be possible to release your hand. Might be harder, but still possible. Inhale back to warrior two. That's quite hard on the hips, that one. Exhale, relax. Let's do some softer movements. Warrior two is quite intense, so let's do some softer movements just to release. Inhale, circle the arms softly up, fingertips come together. Exhale, relax down. And just keep the arms really soft. One more. And exhale. We'll come back to center. So we're already sitting in a nice high sort of squat position. Let's have a little bit of hip work. So just pressing into the balls of the feet. Just lift the heels and lower them. And all we're doing is compressing into the hip joint. The wider you take those feet, the more intense it'll be. That is too intense for me. It's just a demonstration. So coming up, pressing into the ball of the feet, bringing the heels down. Reaching up and coming down. So you can just feel it in the hips. This is not intense work, but it's very, very valuable work. And we're going to do some hip circles. I'm going to give you the option to do this seated or standing. There's a few different variations. I'll show all of them. So I need to always sit a little bit further forward on my chair and still keeping the legs a little bit wide. You can draw circles on the floor with your big toe, but remember it's this movement we want. Yes, you get some movement into the knee, but what we want is the movement of the thigh bone in the hip joint. For that reason, I prefer using a strap or my hand to roll my leg around in circles when I do this. If you want to do this standing, just do a few in each direction. Have your chair for support so you don't lose your balance. And this is how it works. This is beautiful movement. So from here, we will go into some standing stretches, which are great for replacement hips, strengthening up those joints. So if you want to do standing work today, you can do them all standing. Otherwise, you can approximate them seated. Do your other leg, whether you're sitting or standing, just make your hip circles on both sides. I tend to do 3 one way, 3 the other, regardless of whether I'm seated, standing, or lying down, because I don't want my hips to get tired. I just want them to be nourished and warmed. So if you're joining me for standing, I'm just going to turn my chair, you don't need to. We're just going to do a few reps. So feet underneath the hip joints. You can hold onto your chair if you need to. You can have your hands on your hips if you prefer. Make sure that your hips stay nice and square all the way through. We're just going to take a leg out to the side. I point the toes to intensify, but you don't have to. Back to center. Behind, lengthen. Really lengthen. To center. And forward. It's a bit like beginner's ballet, I think. I've never done ballet, so I shouldn't say, but it feels like ballet for someone who's never done ballet. Just move through. So you can always do more of these. There's no need to hammer your hips. I think it's better to do fewer reps more often. Last one, 4 on each side. You'll find that your standing leg gets tired. The irony of these postures, I mean, once you know about the anatomy, that's not how it works. But, you know, you find that, just switch legs when you're ready. You find that it's actually the standing leg that does a lot of strengthening in these postures. Back. I've lost my pattern, doesn't matter. Out to the side. So try not to go so big that it hurts, but you need to feel that sensation there. I think I subconsciously avoid going out to the side because that's the movement that my hips are less delighted by, but it is the one that I need. Last one, out to the side. Okay. So you could leave your standing work there if you're wanting to just stay with softer movements. If you want to, you can do a little bit of these knee lifts again. You could do this feasibly, you could do this seated. So just lift up the leg and lower it down, lift. We'll try and stay upright for these practices. And this is going to be reasonably good for your knee. You're going to keep your foot switched on. It's a little bit of compression for your thigh. And then bring the knee back in line with the other knee, foot switched on, and push back and to neutral. Push back. It's good. I'm going to give you a perky bum if you do this one. Not that it matters whether it's perky, it will be strong. So I'm just going to do 4. You could do 1, you could do 6, your choice. Other side, lift the knee, lift, back to mute, down towards the ground. Lift, just in line with the hip, towards the ground. My knee's clicking. I don't like it. Been very clicky. As I'm recovering from my lower back pain, all of my joints have become quite clicky. They're getting better. So going back the other way, push back, push back. It's a small movement. Back. Clench your bum. Last one. Let's have a forward fold. We'll do it seated. People I know who've had sciatica really, really appreciated this, especially if it's very bad sciatica. So sit your bum right back in the seat, toes point out. So all of those movements, you can technically arrange yourself onto the chair to do them. So you can approximate the movement. Hold on to the front of the chair. We're going to come halfway. So deep breath in. As you exhale, hinge forward from the hips. Bum stays right back. Hips stay on the chair. Come halfway. You can rest your forearms on your thighs. Relax your shoulders, relax your head. This might be it for you, particularly if you have glaucoma, if you have high blood pressure, if you get vertigo, or if the stretch in your inner thighs and hips is exactly right, you can just stay here. A lot of people like to come all the way down. You must be careful because you are going to be upside down. And at that point, you can release your hands, relax your shoulders, give them a really nice wiggle, turn the head from side to side, neck fully relaxed. And it always pays to be in a room that has been hoovered when you do this posture, because you will be looking out the back of the chair. And normally in these videos, I'm very aware of the fact that no amount of hoovering keeps this room dust free, but it's all right today. So I am wrong. Take some nice deep breaths. Just relax the hands here as well. So there is a little bit of an intensifier here. You got to be really careful with this one because it could just be way too much for the hips. It's very strong, I find. I like it, but it can be very strong. So gently start to press into the balls of the feet. So behind the toes, press into the balls of the feet. And see if you can start to lift the heels. And if you lift the heels all the way like I am, that is a very intense hip compression. You can come just a little way. You might not need to do it at all, but it's going to intensify everything. So be careful. And release if you've got your heels up. Now, this is optional. If you love the forward fold, you love being upside down, you enjoy this stretch, it's good for your hips, it's good for your sciatica, or whatever it is, your lower back, you can just stay here. It's very relaxing for the shoulders. So I just want to put this in to the sequence so it's there for the people who want it. When you're ready, on an inhale, you can come into a half lift. So your fingertips come to the floor and the spine is long, gazing down at the floor. If you have the space, you can bring your left hand to the mat or fingertips at center and then draw the right arm up. It's a big twist. You could have your hand on your hip as well here. It feels like a big twist. Actually, the movement isn't huge. And then switch sides. So this is an option. What I would say is if you have lower back instability, I wouldn't bother with this until you start to strengthen up and you know that all of your spinal discs are safe and your, you know, you don't want to do this if you've got unstable vertebrae or discs. Come back down, have a little wiggle. One more time, half lift. So the half lift is here to help regulate blood pressure on your way up. And let's bring the hands to thighs. Gently come up with a nice long spine all the way to center. And I love when I'm coming up from a fold like that to have some loose shoulder rolls. Just really loose, very, very comfortable. Nothing too intense. You can, let's roll some circles with the hands. So we're just going to grab the strap shortly, just to stretch out the legs and the ankles. So we'll warm up the hands for using the strap. You can always do wrist work. It's very freestyle. There's nothing, you know, fancy about this. You can spark your fingers and make little fists. That's quite nice. No pain. So if you do have arthritis and it flares up, especially if it's cold or damp, no pain with this work. Leave it out if it hurts. Let's roll some loose fists. We'll roll some circles. So the lovely thing about chair yoga is you can really just isolate the bits that you want or need on a certain day and just do a short 5, 7, 10-minute practice based on the bit that you fancy, especially say if you've been gardening and a particular part of your body is feeling quite tense. Let's make a big fist. So knit your fingers together across the thumbs and start, just notice which direction you start in and roll figures of 8 with your hands knitted together. And if you can, it always feels very weird, come back to center and then go back the other way. It is different. It is different because the emphasis of the movement is subtly different, but it does feel weird when you do it. No, it's different because my right wrist starts to click when I do it in the other direction. Okay, nice. Just a little bit of a wiggle there. Let's stretch out the wrists as well. So palms together. It doesn't matter which position your hands are in, and we're just going to press from side to side. The sensation wants to be on the inside of the wrist there. This is very good conditioning for your arms, your hands, your wrists. Not that interested in big, strong muscles, to be honest. I find in chair yoga, people have very good upper body strength and lower body strength. It's only mobility that's holding, that's causing it, making it necessary to sit in the chair, or age or injury. Let's go the other way. So we'll just turn one hand down. You need to be really careful not to press into these delicate bones at the top of the hand. So just use the big set of knuckles to very gently draw your hand back until you feel just a nice feeling of length along the top of the wrist. I've got quite reasonably mobile wrists. I've been working on wrist mobility for my other yoga practices. And when you're ready, you can switch sides. Also, there's arthritis on my mum's side of the family. So I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about trying to keep my wrists and my hands well nourished, looked after, to try and avoid arthritis as much as I can. You know, there's a limit to what you can do. Lovely. Lovely. And let's release that and shake out. We'll stretch out the legs. I am going to show you the seated version, and I'm going to show you the lying down version, because this is something you can do in bed before you go to sleep, and it will make you feel good before you go to sleep. So if you're lying in bed, you can do this all lying down. Lying on the floor is better, but I know most of you are not going to lie on the floor, so it's your choice. So you're just going to wrap the strap around the ball of your foot. So not in the arch. It's got to be around the ball of the foot. You can use a resistance band for this, but if you use a resistance band, the sensation is going to be slightly different. You might go into strength. So you get to adjust that yourself with a resistance band. lengthen out the leg and pull the strap back so that you feel a nice feeling of length coming into the back of the ankle, the calf, and very carefully, you can always keep a bend in the knee here because your the length in the muscles, the stretch needs to be not near the joint. So it should be in the big, thickest, strongest parts of the muscle, right in the middle of the thigh, right in the middle of the calf, not near the ankle, not near the knee, not near the sitting bones in your bum. If you want to intensify and go into the hamstrings, you can, maybe not that high, but you can start to draw the leg up and you will feel that strength. Now, certainly in one of my classes, Carol needs to bend her knee quite a lot to get any sensation into the back of the leg. That's normal. That can be a product of hypermobility in your knees or very long hamstrings. It can be quite hard to access hamstrings if they're very long or very short or very tight. So I would say whatever makes sense for you. You can go up as high as you need, stay tall. It's the same thing if you're lying on your back. So I'm just going to show you so that you know. Yeah, you can hear my knees clicking. This is all part of my recovery from having a really quite bad back spasm. So you lie on your back, strap up your foot, keep the other foot on the floor with the knee bent, lengthen up, press the toes back and the heel up. This is how you do this lying down, and it feels a lot nicer lying down. There's an argument for doing it first thing in the morning or last thing at night when you're lying in bed.
We do it like that and sit forward.
Say again, Ro?
No, it's okay, no problem.
Okay. Reach up, reach up, reach up. So that's quite nice. You can do it standing as well. There's some balance involved. So if you do this while it's standing, you will need to keep the strap long, hold on to this chair. I mean, I think doing it standing is the least effective way, personally. Do it lying down, do it seated. So hopefully, while I've been chatting, you've gone over to the other side and stretch it out. Reach forward, just turn sideways and reach. And it doesn't hurt. Actually, even if you've just stayed on the right side the whole time, these kind of stretches do benefit from more time and more breathing, because this is really about releasing tension in muscles. You can't make muscles anatomically longer, but you can release all of the tension as much as possible. You need a little bit of tension in muscles. Lovely. When you've had enough, you do a bit on both sides. You just need to do some ankles, the neck, and we're done. So let's just roll ankles around. Circles, so a combination of circles and flexing and extending. So a few circles going in each direction. Not everybody can do all of these. Again, just be respectful of your joints. And then flex, flex and extend. Flex and extend. So the natural joint movement of the ankle is flex and extend. You can switch sides. When you're ready, we do both movements. So the circles are good because it's a nice range of movement, but it goes right up into the calves. Calves do a lot of the heavy lifting with ankle circles. Flexing and extending is what you need in the joint. I'm really sorry if you can hear my ankle clicking into the microphone. Flex and extend. Flex and extend. Of course, you know, flex and extend is just a descriptive term, but anatomically speaking, when you flex, the opposite side of your body is extending. So, you know, both are always happening at all times. So once you've had enough movement, as many as you need, So obviously Ro, you're here, but when Ian's in class, he often needs more work on his ankles because his ankles are very frozen. For some of us, ankles are always getting used a lot. So if you are in a wheelchair or you're using a walker or something is stopping you from getting the full range of movement into your ankles and your legs regularly, then ankle stretches may be much more valuable for you. So you can weight all of these things as much as you need. Anyway, let's just do some simple neck stretches. We'll take the right hand up and over the head, over to the left side, and gently draw your head over to the right. You can leave your hand where it is, or you can release it if you want. If you find that your shoulder, your extended side shoulder, so in my case left, tends to pull up, or if you don't have any sensation, you can wrap your arm around your waist, or you can hold onto the side of the chair or take the arm behind you. So again, if you're in a wheelchair, it might be easier to take your arm back behind or reach it back. If you're able to wrap your arm around your waist, you can do that. You just relax into these movements. So this is the last specific movement we're doing. Whole body, I think, is done. Quite a lot of work, quite a lot of options there. So if you use video, you can build towards your standing work. You can start once you're comfortable doing standing work, switch sides when you're ready. When you become comfortable doing standing work, you can become creative about how you do it, how you take your seated postures and adapt them into standing, or as I showed you, a lot of these things can be done lying down. So the leg stretches, it's nice to do lying down on your back, for sure. The hip circles, you can do those lying down on your back, you can do them standing up. You can come to all fours and do cat-cow and your hip circles, and little by little, as your mobility increases, as you experiment at home where it's safe and comfortable, you'll find that the floor doesn't feel so far away. And though you might prefer to stick with seated yoga practice because it's accessible and there's no flinging around, in your own time, you may just be able to start introducing a broader range of movement and just play a little bit more. So try and always take a playful, have space for playfulness in your yoga practice. Intention, yes. Discipline, yes. Strength, mobility, rest, all important. These are the foundations, but you can do all of it playfully. It doesn't have to be, you know, a chore. It shouldn't be a chore. It should feel nice. It should feel fun. It should feel good, even if there's a lot of work going in. We'll come back to center. And I like these. Valerie in my class, she hates these, but we're going to do them. So shake out the arms, and I'm going to make some circles, and it doesn't matter how big or small your circles are. I like to make circles really big. So shake up, and circle down, and you can reach all the way down if you're feeling a bit more limber. And just shake, 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 shake. Some teachers use this as a warm-up. I like it to shake off any tension that's built up. And roll the other way. Of course, you can stop when you've had enough. This is a really floppy nonsense. Otherwise, I like to do three in each direction until I really feel done. Okay, release the arms, wiggle the shoulders. And because it's such a favorite, we will finish with alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. Very relaxing and a nice practice to take into your rest of your day. So back to where we started, sitting comfortably tall on the chair, feet flat on the floor as much as is possible for you, shoulders back and relaxed, nice tall spine. Let's leave the left hand resting on the thigh, palm facing upwards. Pointy fingers of the right hand can rest between the eyebrows, or you can tuck them in toward, I can't really do it, you can tuck them in towards the palm of the hand and use your remaining fingers for blocking alternate nostrils. So I'm going to block the right nostril with thumb and inhale through the left. Block the left and exhale through the right. Inhale right. Block the right nostril with the thumb and exhale left. Inhale left. Block the left nostril with the 2 free fingers and exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. And if it's safe and comfortable for you, inhale right and hold your breath just for a moment. Release your hand. When you're ready to exhale, lift the chin and gently release that breath between parted lips. Let the eyes stay closed. Just bow the head softly. Draw the attention inwards for a few moments. Just become aware of how you are feeling right now. And thinking of this moment as the beginning of the rest of your day, or even setting the stage for tomorrow. Whatever makes sense, and this is all just information that you can use to respond appropriately. How you feel now gives you an idea of what needs to happen next. Clean slate. And keeping the head gently bowed towards the floor, you can slowly start to blink the eyes open. Lift the chin, just go a little bit taller, and we will seal the practice. Hands down by the sides, palms facing forwards. And take a nice circle up. Inhale, draw the arms up, fingertips come together at the top. Exhale, hands to the heart. And thank you for joining me today.